धीमहि यो यो नमः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नमः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। परमदयाल प्रभु परमदयाल राम कृष्ण प्रभु परमदयाल। परमदयाल प्रभु परमदयाल राम कृष्ण प्रभु परमदयाल। परम कृपाल परम कृपाल श्री मां शारदा परम कृपाल। परम कृपाल परम कृपाल श्री मां शारदा परम कृपाल। करुणा सागर युग अवतार नैया हमरी करो भव पार। करुणा सागर युग अवतार नैया हमरी करो भव पार। परम दयाल प्रभु परम दयाल राम कृष्ण प्रभु परम दयाल। परम दयाल प्रभु परम दयाल राम कृष्ण प्रभु परम दयाल। परम दयाल प्रभु परम दयाल राम कृष्ण प्रभु परम दयाल। परम दयाल प्रभु परम दयाल राम कृष्ण प्रभु परम दयाल। परम कृपाल परम कृपाल श्री मां शारदा परम कृपाल। परम कृपाल परम कृपाल श्री मां शारदा परम कृपाल। करुणा सागर युग अवतार नैया हमरी करो भव पार। करुणा सागर युग अवतार नैया हमरी करो भव पार। परम दयाल प्रभु परम दयाल राम कृष्ण प्रभु परम दयाल। परम दयाल प्रभु परम दयाल राम कृष्ण प्रभु परम दयाल। परम दयाल प्रभु परम दयाल राम कृष्ण प्रभु परम दयाल। ओम श्री राम कृष्ण भगवान की जय। बोलो बोलो सब मिल बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय। बोलो बोलो सब मिल बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय। ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय। ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय। बोलो बोलो सब मिल बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय। बोलो बोलो सब मिल बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय। झूठ जटा में गंगा धारी। झूठ जटा में गंगा धारी। त्रिशूल धारी डमरू बजा। त्रिशूल धारी डमरू बजा, डम 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 डमरू बजा, डम 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 डमरू बजा, गूंज गाओ नमः शिवाय, गूंज गाओ नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, हर ओम नमः शिवाय, हर ओम नमः शिवाय, हर ओम नमः शिवाय, हर ओम नमः शिवाय। बोलो बोलो सब मिल बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय, बोलो बोलो सब मिल बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय, 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 बोलो बोलो सब मिल बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय, बोलो बोलो सब मिल बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय। झूठ जटा में गंगा धारी, झूठ जटा में गंगा धारी, त्रिशूल धारी डमरू बजा, त्रिशूल धारी डमरू बजा, डम 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 डमरू बजा, डम 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 डमरू बजा, गूंज गाओ नमः शिवाय, गूंज गाओ नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, हर ओम नमः शिवाय, हर ओम नमः शिवाय, हर ओम नमः शिवाय, हर ओम नमः शिवाय। बोलो बोलो सब मिल बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय, बोलो बोलो सब मिल बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय। ओम श्री राम कृष्ण भगवान की जय। रघुपति राघव राजा राम, अभयम अलकुम सीताराम। 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 सीताराम सीताराम, उल्लम कवरनाय सीताराम। सीताराम सीताराम, उल्लम कवरनाय सीताराम। राघव राजा राम अभयम अलिकुम सीताराम रघुपति राघव राजा राम अभयम अलिकुम सीताराम रघुपति राघव राजा राम अभयम अलिकुम सीताराम श्री राम 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 श्री राम श्री राम श्री राम श्री राम मन दिलुम राम कनविलुम 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 राम येंगम निरेंगा नीये राम नीये राम नीये राम नीये राम नीये राम श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम श्री राम श्री राम श्री राम जलतिलुम राम नीलतिलुम राम जलतिलुम राम जलतिलुम राम नीलतिलुम राम उलगतिल व्यापिकुम नीये राम नीये राम नीये राम नीये राम श्री राम 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 श्री 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 राम 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 ओम श्री राम कृष्ण भगवान की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय श्री अम्बे अम्बे मात की जय श्री सियावर रामचंद्र की जय हरिताराचे हजार नाम कया नाम लखवी कंकोतरी हरिताराचे हजार नाम कया नाम लखवी कंकोतरी रोज रोज बदले मुकाम कया नाम लखवी कंकोतरी रोज रोज बदले मुकाम कया नाम लखवी कंकोतरी हरिताराचे हजार नाम कया नाम लखवी कंकोतरी मथुरा मोहन तू गोकुल गोवारियो मथुरा मोहन तू गोकुल गोवारियो द्वारका मरायर चोर कया नाम लखवी कंकोतरी द्वारका मरायर चोर कया नाम लखवी कंकोतरी हरिताराचे हजार नाम कया नाम लखवी कंकोतरी नरसी मेहतानो तू स्वामी समारियो, नरसी मेहतानो तू स्वामी समारियो, मीरा गिरिधर गोपाल कया नाम लखवी कंकोतरी, मीरा गिरिधर गोपाल कया नाम लखवी कंकोतरी, हरि ताराचे हजार नाम कया नाम लखवी कंकोतरी, कोई तने राम कहे कोई राधे श्याम, कोई तने राम कहे कोई राधे श्याम, कोई कहे नंदनो किशोर कया नाम लखवी कंकोतरी, कोई कहे नंदनो किशोर कया नाम लखवी कंकोतरी, हरि ताराचे हजार नाम कया नाम लखवी कंकोतरी, हरि ताराचे हजार नाम कया नाम लखवी कंकोतरी, रोज रोज बदले मुकाम कया नाम लखवी कंकोतरी, रोज रोज बदले मुकाम कया नाम लखवी कंकोतरी, कोई कहे राम कहे कोई राधे श्याम, कोई कहे राम कहे कोई राधे श्याम, कोई कहे नंदनो किशोर कया नाम लखवी कंकोतरी, कोई कहे नंदनो किशोर कया नाम लखवी कंकोतरी, हरि ताराचे हजार नाम कया नाम लखवी कंकोतरी, कया नाम लखवी कंकोतरी, कया नाम लखवी कंकोतरी, कया नाम लखवी कंकोतरी। ओम श्री राम कृष्ण भगवान की जय।
Aum Namo Narayanaya. Man, his own friend and foe. I have a Facebook account created years back, shortly after the phenomenon was born. To date, I think I have approximately 230 friends. It is a joke, really, one that I play on myself every time I interact with the social media. 230 is a lot of people at a birthday party, house prayer, wedding, anniversary party, etc., even in a time of no pandemic. A friend, as I understand it, in the real world, that is, outside of the World Wide Web, is a person I can trust, one whom I can turn to for advice, and one around whom I can be myself without fear of judgment. A friend encourages you and ensures that you are safe. A friend stands by you and helps you along the right path. A friend motivates and supports and never deliberately hurts you or makes you feel inferior. A great friend is a priceless gift. But if all of this is sort of a great friend, then what of ourselves? Before we can expect this of another or place this responsibility on another, surely we must be able to be all of this to ourselves and therefore be able to be such for others. Anything less will be hypocrisy of the greatest kind, in which we lie to ourselves. Uddharet atmanatmanam natmanam avasadayet atmeva hyatmano bandhur atmeva ripur atmanah. One should raise oneself through the self and never lower oneself. For the self alone is one's friend, and the self alone is one's enemy. To him who has conquered the self, body and senses by his self, the self is his friend. For the uncontrolled man, however, the self alone is adverse like an enemy. Chapter 6, verse 5 of the Bhagavad Gita. Swami Vivekananda says that the difference between a man and a machine is the power of thinking. A machine cannot think, nor can a brute. It is given only to the human being to think. Even the most wicked rogue, crook, or even a criminal can raise himself to the height of the most pious saint sage, or great soul just by changing his or her way of thinking. Swamiji reminds us that once upon a time there lived a wicked crook who, through the change of mindset, became the great scribe and sage. Ratnakar changed from chanting Mara, Mara, Mara to chanting Ram, 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 and thus evolved into the enlightened being that was Sage Valmiki, the author of the Srimad Ramayana. The mind is such a powerful entity. Unlike the brain, it is not matter. It has no physical body. The mind is that consciousness that dictates who we are and how we choose to live. It is perhaps the most noticeable manifestation of the soul, our link to the divine. This being the case, it is our duty to reinforce the idea of the divine in our minds so that it, the soul, the self, may realize its ability and divinity. The ability to discriminate, the ability to choose how we approach life, is ultimately the ability to choose the life we live. It was by choice that Kans chose to imprison his sister Devaki and his brother-in-law Vasudeva and kill their children. So afraid was he of dying at the hands of a nephew that he destroyed the happiness that he would have shared with his beloved sister. Ravan chose to ignore the counsel and laws of many when he abducted Mother Sita and challenged Sri Ramachandra. Driven by lust, he was blinded to righteousness. Driven by greed and jealousy, the Kauravas cheated the Pandavas and chose to abuse them publicly, thus setting in motion events that ultimately led to their anguish and complete annihilation. It was choice also that made Bharat reject the throne in favor of his brother. It was choice that forced Arjun to ignore his doubts and become a hero. More recently, it was choice that allowed one unarmed man to lead a nation to freedom, for it was Gandhiji who chose to fight oppression with the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita and not a gun. It seems preposterous to equate all these events to mere choices. This much I shall concede, but there is an explanation for such a resolution. A choice is formulated in one's mind. There are many influencing factors that affect the choice, but the choice is ultimately one's own. Happiness, fear, anger, love, lust, regret, hope, desire, etc. All these factors come into play when a choice is to be made. It is for this reason that our scriptures and sages declare that we are our own friend and foe. It is our reaction to the world around us that can either uplift us or break us. Driven by lust, anger, greed, pride, jealousy, fear, and hate, we constantly seek more, better, grander things, and the grander gestures that we lose sight of the truth. There was once a great flood in the village, and a man was stranded. As the water rose, the man stood still and said, "I have faith. God will save me." A short while later, the rescue helicopter came by and offered to rescue the man. "No," he said, "God shall rescue me. I will not come with you." The rescue team flew off, and the water rose. The man managed to get to higher ground and was for a while safe. He prayed, "Oh God, save me." Again, the helicopter flew over and offered to rescue the man, but his answer was the same. "No," he said, "God shall rescue me. I will not come with you." The water level increased, and the man climbed up to the tree to be safe. He prayed, "Oh God, I am your humble servant. Please save me." Again, the helicopter approached and attempted to rescue the man, and once again he replied, "No, God shall rescue me. I will not come with you." The rescue team left, and the water level eventually rose too high, and the man drowned. When he reached heaven, he asked God, I prayed sincerely to you, God, but you did not help me in my time of need. Now I am dead. Alas, my child, replied God, I sent the rescue helicopter to save you several times, but you asked them to leave. He was so entrenched in mythology and the grand gesture that he did not see that his prayers were being answered every time. Likewise, we pray, yet miss the answers given to us by God because we expect particular responses. We often ignore the helicopter while waiting for the Vishvaroop, God's divine form, to manifest and go, Here I am! This is what you wanted. There, it is nicely gift wrapped for you. I hope you like the ribbon and bow. In a book entitled Power of Thought, Swami Paramananda says, The secret of success, health, and happiness lies in the power of concentration. And nowhere is the need more felt than in the Western world. What is the cause of many nervous disorders found among people? It is because they work too much? No, it is not the amount of their work. It is the misdirection of their energies. It is the lack of proper control over the mind and body that at present is killing everyone little by little. Work of itself will not exhaust us, will not make us restless and unhealthy. It is misdirected activity. We do not know how to protect ourselves from our own undisciplined thoughts. What we need is not so much to lessen our activity as to gain the habit of control over mind, and through our mind over all forces. Every day we interact with people who smoke, drink, or are dependent on other substances. Antidepressants have become almost as commonplace as paracetamol or aspirin. Suicide is no longer a rarity. The question is why? The tobacco, alcohol, and drug industries are among the largest and wealthiest in the world. The answer for many people is that the world is just too demanding and stressful. It is not the world that changed, it is the people. The oceans are still the oceans, the sky is still the sky, fire still burns, water still wets, but the mindset of man has changed. With the growth of technology, and in an attempt to become this global village, man has sacrificed the teachings of the old, respect for the self, and have allowed our minds to become undisciplined. The Maitrayana Brahmana Upanishad declares, What a man thinks, that he is. This is the old secret. The mind, it is said, is of two kinds, pure and impure. Impure from contact with lust, pure when free from lust. Mind alone is the cause of bondage and the liberty for men. If attached to the world, it becomes bound. If free from the world, that is liberty. The keeping of holy company is greatly propagated in Vedanta, for it creates a spiritually charged environment and mind. Our task as people, as a person, is to surround the mind, engulf it in environments and situations that ultimately benefit its growth. We regularly pray, Om Purnamida Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om, that universal soul, or Brahman, is perfect. This individual soul, the Atman, is perfect. From the perfect, the Supreme God, is the perfect born, the individual soul. Taking that perfect from the perfect alone remains. We are the perfect beings that have manifested from that perfection, O God. We need to constantly remind ourselves of the greatness within us, of the immense power of which we are a part. To paraphrase Swamiji, we are spirits pure. All power is within us. One should raise oneself through the self and never lower oneself. In the book Bhagavad Gita as viewed by Swami Vivekananda, Swamiji explains this verse thus: "It is a tremendous error to feel helpless. Do not seek help from anyone. We are our own help. If we cannot help ourselves, there is none that can help us. For thou art thyself thy greatest friend, and thou art thyself thy greatest enemy. There is no other enemy but the self of mine, no other friend but myself. This is the last and greatest lesson, and oh, what a time it takes to learn it. We seem to get hold of it, and in the next moment, the old wave comes. The backbone breaks. We weaken and again grasp for that superstition and help. Just think of the huge mass of misery, and all caused by this false idea of going to seek for help. Be not afraid. Think not how many times you fall. Never mind. Time is infinite. Go forward. Assert yourself again and again, and light must come. You may pray to everyone that was ever born, but who will come to help you? And what of the way of death, from which none knows escape? Help thyself out by thyself. None else can help you, friend, for thou alone art thy greatest enemy. Thou alone art thy greatest friend. Get hold on the self, then, and don't be afraid." Swami Vivekananda proclaims, "The ideal of faith in ourselves is the greatest help to us. If faith in ourselves had become more extensively taught and practiced, I am sure a very large portion of the evils and miseries that we have would have vanished." Aum Namo Narayanaya.
करो सत्संग पियारा, जन्म सफल हो जाए तुम्हारा। करो सत्संग पियारा, जन्म सफल हो जाए तुम्हारा। संशय सकल मिटाय ज्ञान का होय उजाला रे। संशय सकल मिटाय ज्ञान का होय उजाला रे। करो सत्संग पियारा, जन्म सफल हो जाए तुम्हारा। करो सत्संग पियारा, जन्म सफल हो जाए तुम्हारा। मूर्त पूजन में मन लावे, मूर्त पूजन में मन लावे। कोटि न तीर्थ में फिर आवे, मन का भरम न जाए बिना सत्संग विचारा रे। मन का भरम न जाए बिना सत्संग विचारा रे। करो सत्संग पियारा, जन्म सफल हो जाए तुम्हारा। यज्ञ दान जप तप बहु भारी, यज्ञ दान जप तप बहु भारी। छाप तिलक माला गलधारी, ज्ञान बिना नहीं मोक्ष होय कर जतन हजारा रे। ज्ञान बिना नहीं मोक्ष होय कर जतन हजारा। अनेक कर्मा शुभ कोई, करे अनेक कर्मा शुभ कोई, सत्संगत सम फल नहीं होई, घड़ी पलक चिन्ह माही होय भव सागर पारा रे। घड़ी पलक चिन्ह माही होय भव सागर पारा रे, करो सत्संग पियारा, जन्म सफल हो जाए तुम्हारा। निश दिन हरि चर्चा जहाँ होई, निश दिन हरि चर्चा जहाँ होई, ब्रह्मानंद संग शुभ सोई, परमेश्वर के ध्यान भजन से हो निष्ठारा रे। परमेश्वर के ध्यान भजन से हो निष्ठारा रे, करो सत्संग पियारा, जन्म सफल हो जाए तुम्हारा। करो सत्संग पियारा, जन्म सफल हो जाए तुम्हारा। संशय सकल मिटाय ज्ञान का होय उजाला रे। संशय सकल मिटाय ज्ञान का होय उजाला रे, करो सत्संग पियारा, जन्म सफल हो जाए तुम्हारा। करो सत्संग पियारा, जन्म सफल हो जाए तुम्हारा। ओम श्री राम कृष्ण भगवान की जय।
Aum Namo Narayanaya, dear sisters and brothers. Let us sit calmly, be relaxed, and think of any aspect of God that you like. Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 17, verses 15 and 16, words that cause no offense, which are truthful, pleasant, and beneficial, and also regular recitation of the scriptures. These are said to be austerity of speech. Serenity of mind, gentleness, silence, self-control, and purity of heart. These are said to be mental austerity. May God bless us so that we can benefit by practicing these teachings. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
ॐ सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु, सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु, सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु, सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु, सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते, पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति
महाराज की जय, महामाई की जय, स्वामी जी महाराज की जय, गंगा मात की जय, महावीर स्वामी जी की जय, सर्व ऋषि मुनियों की जय, पार्वती पतये हर हर महा